Hello, I'm Aiden.
And I'm Josh. Welcome to Undead Ramblings, where we talk all things Call of Duty Zombies amongst other games, movies, and other media.
This is episode 2 of our podcast. Last episode we covered our initial thoughts on Black Ops 6 Zombies. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and watch it. And thank you to everyone who liked and commented and just in general watched the previous ones.
Alright, so just a quick channel update for everybody. Today we're going to be releasing the first installment of the Aether Compilation. As we said in a previous take that we're not airing.
The infamous Aether Compilation.
Yeah. The one that's been in development for like almost as long as the game itself. So basically what it is it's going to be like a cinematic compilation of all the tracks from the original Aether storyline. So from Nacht Der Untoten all the way through to Tag Der Toten in, as I said, hopefully a cinematic fashion. We're going to be releasing one episode that's relevant to the map that we're covering that week. So this week it'll be Nacht, 2 weeks time it'll be Berucht, and then Chronicles, etc, etc. So yeah, you'll be able to watch that on the channel now. I might even have a clip from it playing over the footage or something. We'll see what we end up doing. Moving on from that though.
Is it
Oh, go on.
Sorry, is it too late to anticipate a Dark Aether compilation?
Oh god, I wouldn't even start on that idea just yet. But we'll see. Nothing's off the table just yet. All right, so another thing we were wanting to talk about was, as you added, the Black Ops 6 Zombies album that's come out recently, and how that's going to be affecting the upload schedule going forward. Because of, not wanting to tread on anybody's toes, I've been postponing uploading the rest of the soundtrack to Black Ops 6 for the foreseeable future. I'm not entirely sure how long that's going to last just yet, but you'll be the first to know. I'll be sure to make a post about it whenever that's going to change. But for now, it's just going to be the compilation. Just for the time being. But I do plan on returning to Black Ops 6 in the future. Going on from that, though, for Zombies news, don't think there's been a whole lot, really, has there? Not for Black Ops 6, anyway.
No, not really. I mean, as of recording this, which is the 14th of November, I believe Season 1 has just dropped.
Yeah.
For Black Ops 6.
Oh, it is in the next, hour and a half? Something like that?
Yeah.
2 hours?
Something like that. It's definitely coming today.
Yeah, which is going to bring directed mode and a few other goodies that we'll be sure to talk about next time when we next have the podcast episode out. So we'll cover it then in a bit more detail.
Yeah.
But
I'm just.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Just having a look at the. Oh, sorry, I was just going to say I'm just having a look at the roadmap right now. Yeah, we're expecting directed mode, 3 new gobblegums. What do you think they're going to be about?
I'm not too sure, honestly, but I hope there's more whimsical ones, because I feel like there's a distinct lack of them so far in the early game. But
yeah,
I suppose we'll see.
Yeah.
I feel like
more importantly,
one thing I'd love to see.
Sorry.
It's all right. One thing I would love to see is like a little side Easter egg that activates a whimsical gobblegum for free. I think that would be a fun little.
Oh, like kind of like the free gobblegum Easter egg from Shadows or Horizon Drop.
Yeah, something like that. Just for a whimsical one, just for a bit of fun. Yeah, I wouldn't be against that idea.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. More importantly, though, we're expecting. My educated guess is going to be in December time, but a new Zombies map with a new perk, field upgrade, and ammo mod called Citadel de Mortis, I think it's called.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a continuation to Terminus as well, isn't it? Supposedly.
Is that what has been confirmed?
Yes, it's the Terminus crew again. It's Avalon, I think, which is why they mentioned in. I should have said spoilers, but what can you do?
What can you do?
These things just, when you talk about it so often, they just slip out and you can't catch them before you say them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's going to be a follow-up to Terminus. And today is also your last chance to get that calling card. if you haven't got it already.
Oh yeah, the alternate ones.
Which is probably no point bringing up, to be fair, because it's over in 2 hours. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you can manage to do, actually, yeah, by the time this goes up, we're gonna be long past this.
Absolutely.
So never mind.
Yeah.
You've lost out, guys.
It's all right. That's not all that really.
It's just a different color palette.
Aye.
Have just going off on a tangent here. Have you and your friend managed to get the Terminus one?
We have, yeah.
Ah, cool.
Well,
nice.
Thankfully, it was after they nerfed the chopper gunner, so somehow we managed to crawl our way through it, but managed to do it.
That's good.
All right, then do you want to take us through the next set of topics?
Yeah, sure. So this episode we're going to be covering the very first zombies map ever, Nacht Der Untoten.
Absolutely.
We'll mainly talk about the World at War version. Yeah. It's absolute classic map. We'll as I said, we'll mainly talk about the World at War version, but we'll also touch on the Black Ops 1 port.
Yeah.
The Chronicles version of Nacht will be its own dedicated video along with the other Chronicles map. We kind of felt it'd be good to lump Chronicles as its own package.
Yeah, I feel like, they change enough for them to warrant their own video. They add a couple of new things and stuff like that. There's certainly the more unique versions of those maps. So it seemed like it was worth covering them.
More prettier versions.
Absolutely. So they're definitely worth covering on their own, we feel like. All right. If you want to continue.
So with that in mind, the topics for this episode, we've got 7 topics, so these aren't going to be like hours on end. So the first one is our initial thoughts on the map, kind of like what we did last episode with our initial thoughts on Terminus and Liberty Falls.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss the background of the map and the setting, mechanics and gameplay, music, enemies, the Black Ops 1 port, as I said, and then just any other kind of miscellaneous things.
Yeah, just bits and pieces that don't really fit anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. So kicking us off, our initial thoughts on the map. Josh, describe to me what you like about, or what your thoughts on Nacht Der Untoten are.
Wow, where do you start? Obviously, there's a lot of nostalgia for this one. It's my personal, as I mentioned in the first episode, if you haven't seen it, it's my personal first map. I remember playing it back when I first finished campaign, and my cousin was around, and we both played a bit of that together. And that was my first experience with the mode, and I've fallen in love with it since then. Started, picking up the rest of the maps from there. And I can't imagine a better place to start, honestly. It's the formula, in its simplest form. You know what I mean? It's basically everything that you think about when you think of zombies, isn't it? It's like all the core tenets are there, more or less. Apart from the ones like, Pack-a-Punch and that got added later, but, everything that you need to play the game is already there. And, I don't know, I just feel like they caught something really special with it. It was definitely a lightning in a bottle moment with Nacht, I think. There's no other map quite like it. Not sure if you'd agree with that, but I don't know, yeah. I feel like it's got a very unique feel to it. It's got that early, we're just playing around and testing different things out kind of feel to it. It's very experimental compared to what we have now. It doesn't quite feel as formulaic. And it's just got this very intense atmosphere. It's very overwhelming. Like, when I think back on Nacht, I always think of like, how when you first start playing zombies and when someone goes down, you get that sinking feeling of worrying whether you'll actually make it to the next round. That feeling, I don't feel like you get much anymore. You know what I mean? It's absolutely classic in my opinion. So what about you? What do you think?
Yeah. So my thoughts on the map. What a legacy I think it's left behind.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
I can't think of a more iconic map than Nact, other than like say something like Kino. But for most OG fans, the first thing they think about when they think about Call of Duty Zombies probably Nacht Der Untoten.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, I came to the game or the mode later than you. My first proper map was Kino, though I
Yeah.
had played World at War with Friend before, but nothing to the extent of like Kino. So I always considered Kino as my first experience of the mode. But
Yeah.
I remember when I first completed the campaign, and although I knew that it would lead into Nact,
Yeah.
still seeing that cutscene for the first time
Yeah.
it leaves an impression.
It does. It's such an iconic scene, and it sets the mode up so well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's it really sets you on edge, especially in World at War. Like this is kind of something that's lost its charm, or not charm, but been lost over time.
Yeah.
This map really makes you feel isolated and uneasy.
It really does. Yeah.
And even like as you progress around, I mean, I think I said it in my first in the first episode of what I like and dislike. The thing that I like most about Nact is um, the zombies, like the way they come at you slowly through the mist in those first couple of rounds. Like the atmosphere at building and those first like 5 or 6 rounds is absolutely, like you said earlier, lightning in the bottle.
It really is. Absolutely top notch.
If I hate to say it though, if Nact had been released today, then I might be a bit miffed. But back then, like, because I mean, it's obviously because it is such a bare bones map, but it really is the most solid foundation for zombies as a mode going forward. And the fact that I guess this kind of goes into, we're kind of talking about background and map setting as well now.
Yeah.
The fact that this was a secret created by the developers in their own time that reused assets from like campaign and multiplayer.
Yeah.
And when they just play tested it was really just an absolute magical moment, to put it in a corny way.
Absolutely. Like one of the things I always remember with World at War was going back and playing the the multiplayer maps, like Nightfire was it, or something like that. That was Der Ease, and I think Shinonuma is the only one that isn't directly copied from.
Yeah. I think the closest one is like Making Atto or something.
Yeah.
But, Shinonuma is the only one that it reuses assets, but in terms of actual layout, it's the most unique one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like compromised of different bits and pieces, isn't it, from previous maps? Nacht is Airfield, I believe. And it's also that campaign mission.
I think so, yeah.
And Varric's just Asylum straight up.
The second one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although Varrock also appears in campaign as well, so
yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right.
Really fun. But we'll get to them later. But like, yeah, Nacht Der Untoten is definitely like from those like multiplayer and campaign missions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's always just really cool going back and seeing stuff like that. I don't know why, but there's always been this air, like nowadays that them doing stuff like that is lazy. But I don't know what it is about World at War specifically, but it just felt kind of tasteful the way they would reuse these assets. You know what I mean? They never felt as cheap back then. I guess it could just be because the mode was new. You know what I mean? So there wasn't really an expectation.
Absolutely, I think.
So much.
Yeah, like I think after like Black Ops 1, people were expecting new kind of we're expecting new layouts. Like I know that some maps like Ascension were used reused assets from campaign and multiplayer, but like the more it went on, and particularly into Black Ops 3, people were really kind of learning to expect, as zombies got a bigger budget, to have more unique assets for zombies. But back in the day in World at War, like, because it was so brand new, because we never really had a mode like this in previous games.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, not just previous Call of Duty games, but previous games in general. Like, I know we've had like games like what's it called? That one that you like that's set in a mall.
You have to repeat that. Sorry, Discord cut out a bit there.
It's what? Oh, that's okay. What's the map that you the game that you like that's set in a mall? And it's a zombies one.
Zombies one.
There's been like three or four of them, and you have to. It's where you scavenge like all these like wacky weapons and you've got like 24 hours to beat
Dead
the
Rising.
game. I can't remember what it's called. That's the one, yeah. Like, I know you had games like Dead Rising and other kind of zombie-esque games, but you've never had, before Call of Duty Zombies came around, you've never had a mode quite like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It also kind of like, I don't know if it was just that mode, but I know Gears of War also had a part to play in it, but it kind of also popularized horde modes. You didn't quite see them quite as often before World at War and Gears of War and stuff like that came out. So I always thought that was really cool. Always seeing things take inspiration, other game modes and that take inspiration from modes like zombies and whatnot, like Killing Floor. I know you haven't played that one, but that one's pretty heavily inspired by zombies for sure.
And this is it. Like, how many, like, since Call of Duty Zombie or World at War, really, like, how many horde modes have kind of taken inspiration from it?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It really, like, as I said before, Nacht really set the foundation of not just Call of Duty Zombies, but the horde mode in general, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely had a massive impact, for sure. Which is surprising, you know, when we go back to, like, Nacht and looking at how it started and how basic it is. Like, I mean, back in Nacht, we didn't even have stuff like emblems for insta-kill. It was like that old 30-second timer that would come up on the bottom of the screen. Like, that's just how early it was. And it's just, you know, really surprising to go back and see where, like, how far it's come, especially after playing Black Ops 6. And just going back and looking at Nacht again and being like, you know, it's really come so far in, like, really such a short space of time. Like, it's, you know, like 2 decades isn't that long, really, in the grand scheme of things, for how much the mode has changed. You know what I mean?
That's very true. But it's also a very long time in video game life cycles.
Absolutely, yeah, in video game life cycles.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we're part of the old guard of zombies, really, aren't we?
No shame here. There's no shame here.
No shame at all. I suppose it's kind of, we're kind of going into topic 3, mechanics and gameplay. Like, that's really a nice segue. Like,
yeah.
I just want to kind of kick us off with this by saying I think Cold War, I'm so glad they brought back the like 30-second timer for things like insta-kill and double points. That was first seen in this map.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's also in Black Ops 6, isn't it? They have like the little timer in the actual emblem. Yeah. I think that is like, useful. Yeah.
I know it's not like the biggest change or biggest deal in the world, but I love seeing it's just a little like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Reverse nitpick for me. I don't know what, like, I know nitpicks are like tiny little annoyances, but like, what's the reverse of that? Like that it's the reverse nitpick.
The reverse nitpick.
I'm pointing that now.
You heard it here first. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's just like a nice little detail, and plus, it also has a gameplay function, I'd argue, because it allows you to, you know, efficiently use it in a way that is helpful to you, because you know how long it's going to last, and you can plan around how long you have left of insta-kill. So I don't know, I kind of like it as it is now. I like it with both being like present, both features of it.
Absolutely. I think what the original, like the OG power ups, it was nuke, max ammo, insta kill, and it was double points.
Yeah, double
I think
points.
so.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was it though. It was just like 4 power-ups, and that was it. Which feels
Yeah.
really old-fashioned nowadays. But you know, you have to start
This is
somewhere.
what I was saying about. Yeah, and this is what I was saying. Like, if I could describe Nact in one word, it's foundational. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
got all of these foundations for the mode that has evolved and grown since. Like power ups, we've got 4 original power ups that have lasted all through the mode,
Yeah,
and ever since then we've had more that's coming. Um, Wall buys is another one.
yeah. The wall buys. Just before we go into that though, do you want to touch on the tower defense aspect a little bit?
Yeah, I suppose that this is kind of all kind of tying together, like things like the power ups, the wall buys,
Yeah, yeah.
other kind of mechanics. It really sells the kind of 3D tower defense that the developers were kind of envisioning when they were creating the mode.
Absolutely. Like one thing it always reminds me of is I remember back when Nact was like new and well, tower defense was really still kind of niche. You know, like I remember there used to be all
Hmm.
those. I don't know how many people remember them, like websites and that, like mini clip and that sort of thing, where you used to get all those online
Yeah,
tower defense 2D games.
like Armor Games and
Yeah,
what's it? Is it Newsgrounds or something like that? I can't
yeah,
remember
all
what it's
those,
called.
yeah, and like
Hmm.
oh, what was it called? There's one I used to always play called Last Stand. I don't know if people remember that one. It's the one where you're like
I think I vaguely
it's the
remember
one
it.
with the sandbags where you're stuck behind like the debris and you just shoot zombies over the top of
Yes.
it.
Oh god, I loved that game.
Same
Such
here.
a good game. We're showing our age here.
Well, if it helps, it's on Steam, so there you go. You can go and buy it if you want.
Nice.
But yeah, like
It's also got.
oh god.
No, you finish what you were saying.
I was just gonna say like tower defense for a while was like a big thing, especially like I say in circles like that, like online games, on websites and stuff. So I
Hmm.
think it was just a case of right place, right time, really. And I don't feel like you see them too much now. Like I said, maybe Gears of War's Horde mode is still kind of like that in the newer games. But
Hmm.
beyond that, I don't really see tower defense too much anymore. Even zombies itself has kind of forgone it in recent years.
Hmm.
This was a topic we were going to touch on later, but I feel like we've kind of segued back into it, so we'll just cover it now, may as well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just
It's.
it's still technically tower defense, but I don't know. I think in the
It's
long term, I kind of prefer the direction we've gone in.
absolutely. I mean, it's certainly evolved from the classic kind of tower defense. Like you have tower defense, the next evolution was this zombies horde mode tower defense, and now we've got the evolution of that since. Um,
Yeah.
I was thinking it's also very much like what's that old arcade game that you find in oh what's it called in like in
I'm just thinking of
what's it
like
called?
House
You
of
know
the
when
Dead.
you're on a that's the one, yeah. Like when you're on like long road trips and you go to have a stop, and it's like in the not restaurant, like the stopping area.
Yeah.
They got like an arcade area, and you go into there, and like, is it House of the Dead?
That's the one with the where you've got the plastic
It
guns
must.
and you point them at the screen. And...
That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like, it's very. That it kind of reminds me. Nact kind of reminds me of that, like as a core foundation as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see
It's
it.
almost tower defense mixed with House of the Dead. Like
Yeah.
it really was just a marrying of the two kind of concepts.
Absolutely, along with the arcadey nature of the point system and the random weapons, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just got so much
High
replayability.
rounds.
Like, I suppose we could cover the other stuff in this one topic as well. Really, like the power ups, the mystery
Mm-hmm.
box, and the ray gun, the sniper cabinet, and just stuff like that.
What? Yeah. What was your first reaction to, if you can remember, to getting the ray gun? Like, I'm
Oh
guessing
god.
when you played Max, that was your the first time you got the ray gun.
Uh surprise, because I certainly hadn't found it in campaign before that point, so I certainly wasn't aware of it. I just remember it becoming, like immediately famous, really, with classics such as "Revive Me, I Have the Ray Gun."
Good old memes.
To be fair, though, like it's a joke now, but back then, it was really true. When you were down, you were like, "No, please, I don't want to lose this weapon," because you've spent so many points trying to get it. You've got like the sunk cost fallacy, and it's like you don't want it to go to waste.
Absolutely. Like back in the day, I know getting to like round 20 nowadays is an absolute like it's so easy.
Yeah.
But back in the day, getting to round 20 on like Nacht Der Toten was record setting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like it was really really difficult to do, but one of the guns you needed was the ray gun.
Oh yeah. Like I'm sure you probably used this strategy as well. The old one of camping by the grenade wall at the top of the stairs with 4 people and just camping in the corner with 4 ray guns and just like getting 4 ray guns was like winning the lottery back then. It was
like,
great.
One of my best memories. Yeah, one of my best memories was playing with 4 players. Two of them had LMGs.
Oh yeah.
One had the ray gun, and then one was using the double barrel shotgun.
Oh yeah.
To cover the window. So like the LMGs were kind of taking it. I was one of the LMG. I think I had the MG42.
Yeah.
And we were taking it turns to kind of shoot, and when we were reloading, the other one would take point. The one with the double barrel shotgun was covering the window, and then the person with the ray gun was sitting by the grenade wall by, just firing like ray guns and then also just spamming grenades into that front door all the time as well.
Oh yeah.
And it was just the most like chaotic, amazing power fantasy going.
Absolutely, especially with like the Gersh hands as well. It made like getting out of situations when they started coming in really like complete RNG, honestly. It was chaos. People would be running around, somehow getting past them without getting hit. Other people would be getting grabbed in like other corners of the map, and you just like, ugh. It's such a classic experience. I would implore anyone who's never played it to pick up Black Ops 3 at the very least, or preferably World at War, but Black Ops 3, if that's the only one you can get, just to play Nacht. Just to say that you've experienced it, because it really is, that iconic, I would say, for sure. It's definitely one you should
might want to just... Absolutely. Just for clarity, you might want to just... I don't know how many people know the term Gersh hands, so...
Yeah,
or if that's just a concept that you and I made up, so you might want to explain that real quick.
But basically, the zombie collision back then wasn't great. We'll put it like that. They hadn't quite figured out having, obviously it being just the bonus mode initially. They hadn't quite figured out how to make it so the zombies could touch you, but not get stuck. So when you'd run into zombies, they would stick to you and you couldn't run away, and it was really infuriating. Especially, it made training back then, like in Durries and stuff, Numa, extremely difficult, didn't it? Because if you even ran slightly past the zombie, there's a decent chance you'd get caught and you'd get pulled back in and you wouldn't be able to escape. But also... I was just going to say, but also by the same breath, it was also extremely glitchy, and sometimes you could get out of grabs that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. So it kind of worked both ways. But most of the time it worked against you, at least in my experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it certainly got worse from Verrucht onwards, because in Nacht, as long as you kept moving, the zombies would actually, whenever they swiped at you, they would stand still. So as long as you didn't get hit, you could keep just running around, and that's kind of like the high round strategy, isn't it? Like you just keep running around with the flamethrower.
Absolutely.
And as long as the zombies don't actually hit you, like they'll just stand still and swipe.
Yeah.
But they kind of fixed that from Verrucht onwards. So as soon as they hit you, they kind of suck you in. So
yeah.
yeah.
I've never actually tried the flamethrower strategy myself, but I've seen other people do it. It's wild watching people dodge around the room, just not getting grabbed at all. It's crazy.
I tried it a little bit, but not to the extent of getting a high round.
Yeah.
But it's wild.
But yeah, so another thing that they had in Nacht that was unique to that was the sniper cabinet. So what did you think of that?
Oh, the OG. What an absolute gem that is. I mean, near on useless, but I love the concept of it, and I love when I'm playing with a friend or two.
Yeah.
I love buying the sniper cabinet and just hanging around in the upstairs and shooting out of it. It's such a good experience.
I can't even remember how much it costs now. I know in the
isn't it like 1,500?
Oh, I think so, something like that. It's expensive for what it is. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it the scoped Car 98 in World at War?
Yeah. Which I don't think you can even get. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think you can even get that from the box on that.
No, I don't even. In fact, I don't think it's present in any of the other maps. No, I think it's exclusively in the cabinet, and you can't get it anywhere else. I think.
Nice.
I'd have to verify that, but I think that's the case. I know the other maps have the regular Car 98, but I don't think they have the scoped version. Do you remember what it is in Black Ops 3?
Yeah, it's 1,500. Hang on a minute. It's just to kind of set the record. Yeah, it's 1,500 in World at War and Black Ops, and then 2,000 in Call of Duty Zombies. Is that the iOS game, isn't it?
Right.
And then, Jesus,
so they're not
Black Ops 3 cost 5,000. We back. There we go. Sorry, Discord cut out there.
Yeah, it's been a bit funny today, Discord. We'll try and move around it, though.
That's okay. Did you catch what I said?
I didn't.
Okay, so sorry to repeat for the listeners. It costs 1,500 on World at War and Black Ops.
Right.
And then on Call of Duty Zombies, the iOS one, it costs 2,000 points, and that will give you the M2 flamethrower.
God, I wish we'd covered that.
And then in Black Ops 3...
the mobile version... I might have to do a video for that, actually.
I don't even have a mobile that's old enough for that. What a gem.
Absolutely.
And then in Black Ops 3, it cost 5,000, and you get a Locust.
A Locust, was that? Discord again.
Yep, a Locust.
Right.
Sorry, yeah, it costs 5,000 and you get a Locust, which is crazy.
Yeah. Alright, so...
But
Oh, God.
Again, I don't think I would want Nacht Der Toten without the sniper cabinet. Like,
yeah.
I wish...
It's iconic.
I wish we had, like... Yeah, I almost wish we had, like, a similar feature in other maps.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I. Just something unique for each map that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
Moving on, I see that you put in our notes old gameplay rumors. Now,
yeah.
I'm not aware of too many rumors for Nacht Der Toten, so you're gonna have to take point on this one.
I don't remember too many. The one that there's the one we talked about in our original video, the first podcast one, the pilot, which was the certain political figure on round 50.
I thought that was in Deriz.
Oh, I thought it was in Nacht. I'm sure I heard it in Nacht back then as well. I'm sure they had it in both.
I heard it in Deriz, but I mean, the rumors spread in everywhere. So, like, yeah,
maybe
you get a certain leader from 1940, certain German leader from 1945 on round 50 on either Nacht Der Toten or Deriz.
Either one. If anyone remembers whether it was Deriz and I've got it wrong, let me know, because I'd love to know. But one of them that I do remember is, do you remember that helmet that's on the floor near the box?
Oh, the movie.
Yeah. People were always like, you have to shoot that into the box and then open it to get a gun from it.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that one.
There's also the old one of... I'm sure this one translates into future maps as well, but where you wait for the the mystery like icon, the question mark, to be at its brightest before you open it.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always under the rumor, or I was aware of the rumor that if you had exactly 950 points,
Yeah.
For the box, then you were guaranteed a better weapon.
Ooh, I've never heard that one.
No.
No, that's interesting. Gonna have to go try it.
Yeah. So that's one that I still kind of not believe, but like that's one that's, like how if you crawl, then you bleed out faster. That kind of rumor.
Oh yeah,
That's kind of one that I still kind of goes through my head. Like if I got 950 points, I'm gonna get a good weapon.
Yeah, there was an embarrassingly long time that I continued to actually try and time my mystery box openings to the light. I did it for an embarrassingly long period of time. I think it was into like Black Ops 2 maybe. Something like that. And then I was like, you know what? It's too tedious waiting for it. So I'm just going to open it whenever.
Yeah.
Alright, you want to move on to music then? Or you've got something else to do?
Just before we do, I just kind of thinking about it that we haven't really mentioned. It's crazy how small the map is. It's only 3 rooms.
Oh yeah.
And what is that, like 3 doors? Yeah, 3 rooms and 3 doors.
Yeah.
Which is genuinely tiny by today's comparison.
Absolutely. Like, I know it might be going off topic a bit slightly, but when I've been filming stuff for the Aether compilation from Nacht, I've been really struggling to get stuff for footage because the map is just that small. There just really isn't a lot to film. You know what I mean? It's especially with that because of the fact that you can't stop the zombies from spawning. I'm having to constantly record in the help room and upstairs because if you're in the spawn room, they'll keep coming in and swinging at the camera. So I'm having to completely cut that. So if anyone's curious why there isn't any footage from the first room, that's why. But yeah, it's just funny that you mentioned that.
Ask, like, could you not?
It did remind me of that. What were you saying? Sorry.
I was just gonna ask, could you not like make a crawler or something?
I suppose, but it'll probably still come into the shot.
Aye, that's fair.
I don't know. I'll maybe figure something out. We'll see. I haven't quite finished editing it together yet, so there's still time.
That's fair. That's fair. And depending on what strat you do, I know that if you're doing that flamethrower strat, you don't open the help door.
Oh yeah.
But also, on the flip side, if you are doing the grenade camping step upstairs, you do not open the stairs.
Yeah.
So it's funny how, like, 2 different doors can offer 2 very different strategies.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I've only really seen something similar with, like, Kino, where you've got, like, the door for the stage that people generally don't open. And stuff like that. There's not too many maps that do that, is there, really? Maybe Shangri-La,
No.
where you can open the minecart side, but you don't open the spawn door. So you can train up up the ramp. Yeah, it's not something that's really done so much now, but it is a classic strategy to do that.
Yeah.
People hate opening the stairs on Mac, though, don't they?
I know, I've seen people, like, so many games have been ruined by just hosts leaving as soon as they see that the stairs are open.
Yeah, I don't really see the benefit to opening it. I'd rather open the ones in spawn. So you have the full reign of the box room, but you can still get upstairs the other way. But then again, it all depends on...
Yeah.
Because if you want to have... if you want to get into that corner upstairs with the grenade that we were talking about earlier, you're gonna want the main stairs closed. You know what I mean? So you have to go around, because you don't want the zombies coming next to you.
Yeah, I mean, in my story earlier when I was talking about me and 3 others in that room, the reason we died on that game eventually was because, well, one, ammo was running light.
Yeah.
But also our shotgunner player who was looking after the window accidentally bought the stairs while they were trying to repair the window. So we just got absolutely minced on like round 25 or something like that.
Absolutely. It's amazing how something as small as opening the wrong door can completely screw over your strategy. and make it extremely difficult.
Absolutely. Right, yeah, let's move on to music and ambience. Like, I feel like you can definitely take charge on this, being as you're focusing on your Aether compilation. I think you are the expert here.
I'm not sure I'd say that, but we'll go with it. Well, there isn't really a whole lot music-wise for Nacht Der Toten, is there? It's not until like Mob of the Dead that we really started getting proper fleshed out soundtracks for these maps. So a lot of the early ones are really basic, and Nacht's no exception, really. The biggest difference, I think, is that radio that you can activate, and the that has like God. If you want to count every song in the Nacht radio, you've got about 30 songs. If you're including every version of the map as well, including Chronicles. But yeah, a lot of it's just basic, very basic ambience, isn't it? But again, I think that's excusable because it was early days. There's certainly no expectations.
I mean, the ambience really sells the map in that map.
It really does.
The map in this game, like it's really unsettling. That, and combined with, I know we're probably touching on enemies here, but like the weird kind of zombies noises that they use for World at War Nacht specifically. Like you got your Michael Jackson noise. Like it really sells the atmosphere though, like of how unsettling the map is.
It really is. It's extremely overwhelming just hearing all those like sounds and seeing these like figures just running across in the distance. It's really unsettling. It really nails the atmosphere in the sound design department. It really makes you feel like
absolutely
you're buggered. Quite frankly.
Yeah. I do like, just speaking, going back on the radio. I like that it's the tracks in it are specific for each game that it's in. Like in World at War, it uses like World at War tracks. Black Ops 1, I think Mask Walk is on it, and then in Black Ops 3, you've got Abracadabra or other kind of songs.
I feel like it just shows, how much, as we said before, like the modes evolved over time. The fact that we've gone from having just tracks that are reused from like World at War's campaign to having an entire track list of songs made for zombies that we've had over the years since the map came out. I don't know, I just find that pretty incredible, honestly. Like how many songs are on there that are zombies specific. Like even songs from like Buried and that make an appearance, don't they? Like some of the ambient music and that appears and whatnot. And I think it's probably worth also touching on the classic original round change music. Absolutely iconic.
I loved that round change music.
100%. It still might be one of my personal favorites, just because of how iconic it is.
I know it's they're both from campaign, but I was just gonna, I think I know what you're about to ask me, where they're from. I know they're from both from campaign. I don't remember what the kind of opening is from. I think it's
from one of the last levels.
It's one of the Russian missions. Yeah, and then, but I know specifically where the round end comes from. It's Hell's Gate from Heart of the Right, which is the most god-awful level on Veteran, and I only know it because I've committed it to memory because of how many times I've had to listen to the damn thing every time I've been grenade spammed.
You know what we're gonna have to do now?
God, right? I could rant about that all day.
We're gonna have to sit there and do a video of us trying to play a campaign on Veteran.
Oh, I'd sooner put screws through my thumbnails.
Come on, you love grenades.
Look, there's loving grenades, and then there's been like buried by grenades. It's like, folks, I could rant about this for days.
Honestly, you know how they have that old like veteran hardened difficulty icon where the person gets like more and more enraged the higher difficulty you go. It should have just been a grenade for Veteran. That's all the icon should have been. Just
absolutely.
a grenade, nothing else.
Absolutely.
I never.
And I'll tell you this for free.
Oh god.
Modern Warfare 1, the original Modern Warfare 1, was no better for it either.
I don't think I ever did the original Modern Warfare on Veteran. I got halfway through World at War, but I never finished it. I don't think I ever got to the level you were talking about. That one near the end.
You know what? Just because of that, I will play Veteran through with you, just so you can experience my pain.
Eviction was the one that broke me. I couldn't do Eviction.
Oh. Is that the one with in the rain?
Yeah.
Where you start with like the flamethrower or something? No, it's not the flamethrower. You got the bunker at the top. Yeah, that one was terrible as well.
Yeah.
But honestly, Heart of the Reich, fuck that level.
Absolutely. It's like you get one landing at your feet, and then you run to the left, and another one lands at your feet over there. You run back, and then the one that got you initially gets you. And then it has the audacity, to tell you, watch out for the grenade indicator. Yeah, thanks.
The worst bit is when you get like 6 of the damn things appearing in a radius around your like HUD.
Yeah.
So like you can see them in every goddamn direction. It's awful.
Oh, I'm so glad it's not like that now. Jesus.
Yeah.
At least I don't think it is.
Getting back on topic though.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is turning into
World
at War.
On topic.
World at War gripes, more than anything else.
Let's just before we move on to the next topic. Do you want to briefly talk about Undone? Like what?
Oh yeah.
What an absolute wonderful addition that was in Black Ops 1.
Absolutely, yeah. I could be wrong, but am I right in remembering that the song was made for something else initially, but it got repurposed into Nacht later on? I'm sure I've read that somewhere.
Possibly, I don't. Maybe I don't think I've heard it anywhere other than in Nacht, but
I don't think it was.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Kevin.
I don't think it was used in anything else. I just think it was meant to be, but they never ended up using it.
I mean, Kevin used, like, if you go on his YouTube channel, there's so many like stingers and tracks that were either used or not used.
Yeah.
Especially Black Ops 1, like some of the Prestige guitar riffs, like that were unused.
Yeah, absolutely. But
so
no,
it wouldn't surprise me if Undone was meant to be.
I'll have to Google. I'll have a quick Google of it while we're talking. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I was going to say it's just it's a really good track. Definitely, it was definitely interesting when it came out because instrumental stuff for zombies was relatively unheard of back then. I think it is the only instrumental track, is it? Apart from maybe Light from the Shore.
Yeah, and Samantha's Ballad from Forsaken.
True. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't know if you count that as a Easter egg song, but I do.
I would, considering it's not like it's a bonus one on top of the actual one. It is the only one, isn't it, in that map?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would, Yeah,
and I suppose you've also got the instrumental version of Snakeskin Boots, but again, that's more of a bonus.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. But yeah,
but I mean, this was definitely the first.
One last thing that we should probably touch on before we moved on from this is the Game Over track, and maybe how it started the theme of having the Game Over song be the next map's Easter egg song. That sort of thing.
For so long, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I mean, do you think? I know that they snuck in Nacht for the campaign, but do you think they were like Verrückt was already in development for then, or do you think that was something that they made? Like, I would love to know if Verrückt was already being developed, or if they had a really short window for that map, because obviously they had the music for Lullaby for a Dead Man.
Yeah, I'm sure I remember hearing somewhere that initially the Game Over track was supposed to be just that, and then they added the wrote song around it afterwards.
Right.
I
mean, that wouldn't surprise me.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went. I'd have to research that a bit more, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it started off as it's just the Game Over track, but then they just had to write an entire song to go with it, just as a gag and look where it got them. Now they're releasing one with mostly every map. It's crazy.
And the classical evil laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, like, over the years with the songs, the production value's just gone through the roof. They sound like they've got so much more behind them now than they used to back in World at War. Like, Lullaby for a Dead Man's, like, I know it's more a Baroque thing, this, but compare that to what we have now, like, you know, Destroy Something Beautiful or something. It's crazy the difference in quality from what we used to have.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't talk about Cold War or Vanguard.
Oh, you don't like Amoeba?
I don't hate it, but it's not a Kevin song.
All right, so you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, I guess so. Enemies, like just the classic zombies, I guess.
Yeah.
Not really much to say other than they're all kind of blonde and pale skin
and Ken dolls, as you described them in the initial episode.
Yeah, they are the Ken dolls. Like, I wanna be right now. Whenever I go play Nacht Der Untoten on World at War, I just want to have the song "I'm Just Ken" playing.
Oh god. It's just crazy, like, looking back on it, because it's just like, oh god, like, the models that the zombies have in Black Ops 1 look so much more befitting, I feel like. But I don't know, there's a charm. There's a charm to those quirky old sound effects they had and the weird plastic faces. I don't know, there's something about it that I just really love. There's something very humble about it. You know what I mean? It feels like a mod.
I think
more than it does an actual game mode.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, it kind of humanizes it a bit and makes it feel a bit more, you know, like it's something someone did in their spare time.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm hoping that you'll be able to get a Ken zombie model for the overlay images of this video. Yes, Josh.
It was every time I've envisioned how this episode is going to look in my head, it's always been the Kendall zombie models.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
I know this going kind of back a little bit to development.
Yes.
But I remember in an interview or reading somewhere that the whole reason that the idea of zombies kind of came about was the fact that it was because of the flamethrower death animations from the campaign made someone think of that looks like how zombies would walk, and that's why we got the kind of animations of them stumbling and walking like they do in early rounds.
That's crazy.
And it kind of just evolved from there.
Is it actually exactly the same animations, or have they been
I don't know if it's exactly the same, but it certainly made someone, like, the death animation certainly made someone think of it.
God, that's smart.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any flamethrower animations from campaign that might maybe ring a bell, but I can't off the top of my head. It's been too long.
I mean, if we go ahead and play a veteran playthrough, then
I don't know. I feel like the only one pulling that animation will probably be me.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you want to move on to?
Do you want to briefly? Yeah, let's talk about briefly go over the Black Ops 1 port. We've not got a lot of time, but let's go with it.
I'll let you take on this one because I know you have some opinions about the Black Ops 1 version.
Yeah, I like the idea that this kind of goes for all of the Black Ops 1 ports of the World of War maps. I like that they're on there. I just think, in my opinion, the Nacht Der Untoten, or all of the Black Ops 1 ports look pretty awful on Black Ops 1 compared to World at War. I prefer the look of the World at War versions of the Black Ops 1 ports, and the Nacht Der Untoten one is no exception. I do like that they added things like Mule Kick and particularly for the Black Ops weapons.
Oh yeah.
Though that has its own issues in my opinion, but like it's nice that there's kind of a marrying of the two kind of games really.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Personally, for me, I don't mind them. I kind of like the new lighting. I'll be honest. Well, new in the biggest quotation marks you can think of. Yeah, I don't mind the new lighting. I've never had a problem with it. One issue I have had a problem with though is not necessarily a problem in Nacht Der Toten, but more the other maps where the songs cut out a bit early. But again, that's probably something we'll cover again in the future maps when we get to them. But beyond that,
what do you think about that?
Oh, go on.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to ask, like, what do you think about them replacing the Marines with the Ultimate crew?
It's a weird one, but at the same time, like at least for Nacht, it doesn't bother me too much because the Marines in the original didn't speak anywhere. So their absence.
True, but then they speak in like Ultimate speech instead.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say they kind of hurt the tone of the map a bit.
Yeah.
The silence definitely made it creepier than having, Ultimus chatting, dropping quips every 5 minutes. It's funny.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of missing that, that feeling of... but then again, Black Ops 1 in general isn't quite as difficult as what it was, so... By design, it's kind of a bit easier because they fixed the zombie collision and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would agree though that Ultimus does kind of, and this goes for Verrückt as well. Like, they take away from the creepiness and the isolation that those two maps had, especially when they're making their funny quips.
Absolutely, I wish that in Chronicles, instead of doing the hand wavy gesture of just telling us that they're here now because they always were, or whatever it is that Monty says. They just gave us the Marines. I'd have much rather they just did that because it's literally written on the timeline that it's the Marines. It doesn't make any sense for apart from Dempsey. Dempsey makes sense in Verrückt at least. but
you know what? Dempsey's one of my headcanons for that.
Yeah. But I do like, as we've covered in our notes here, the addition of the Thunder Gun and the Monkey Bombs. I think they're pretty nice additions to Nacht, and they certainly make it a bit more... increase your, liability of surviving. Quite significantly.
I mean, I'm not afraid... I'm not sorry to see the Molotovs go.
Oh god, yeah, the Molotovs. I honestly feel like I downed myself more with Molotovs than I killed zombies with them. They would stick around on the ground for way too long, and the flamethrower kind of had the same issue because it set fire to the ground as well, didn't it? Where you could walk into it and you'd start hurting yourself.
But I mean, it's not. I've never actually had a down from the flames like on the ground itself. What kills me is when I throw the Molotovs and it hits a zombie, but I'm too close. It's the explosion.
Yeah,
that kills me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I do wish that they'd.
Yeah.
But I can't remember exactly how much damage they did. All I know is that they were good for guaranteed crawlers. I remember they used to be really good at making crawlers, but not so much for killing zombies.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with the Black Ops 1 port?
No, not really. I think we could quickly wrap up the other section if you want.
Yeah, I mean the Black Ops 1 port is pretty much a carbon copy of the original, which is what we've spoken about, just with the additions of what we've just spoken about.
Absolutely.
But I mean, just going on with the other topics.
Oh,
how many times is
mule kick?
What? Oh yeah.
Not really a perk I use. I use it on Nacht. I'd use it on Nacht just because I don't have an option to use anything else. But that's it, really.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have had something like Speed Cola, but I'll take Mule Kick in a pinch.
Yeah, it was cool that they added it retroactively to all the old maps. It was a cool idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to where we were.
Yeah, can we just talk about how many different versions of Nacht there have been over the years, just real
Oh,
quick?
absolutely. You've written like most of them down here, haven't you? Like we've got World at War,
Yeah.
Black Ops One, Transit, Revelations, Chronicles, D Machine, Forsaken, and I would not be surprised if there's more that we've forgotten about.
Well, that's not including like the iOS or the mobile
Oh yeah,
versions
absolutely.
or the DS. Like it's nuts. I think the only other map that's probably been released as many times or like most after that is probably like Shinonuma.
Yeah, I feel like Shinonima's catching up, especially with the likes of Vanguard recently. um, yeah, it's just crazy. Like, what was it that Jason Blundell said in Black Ops 3? Was it that he wanted to have an act in every game? He almost got there. He almost got there.
Almost. If only it was in Black Ops 4.
Aye. So just to close this out then, how do you feel about what Zombies is now compared to what it was when it started?
I mean, as I said all at the beginning, Nact really does just set the foundation for the mode going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was, as I said before, like if it was released today, I might be a bit more salty about it because of how bare bones the map is.
Yeah.
But for what it was at the time, it really sets the tone and sets the foundation for what is to grow out of it and what a mode it has come from it.
Absolutely. Like you say, I cannot think of a better definition for the term humble beginnings than I can with Nact.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you say, it's the game mode distilled to its purest form, I suppose.
Absolutely.
I could not have picked a better place to start for me personally. It's just funny looking back, having played Black Ops 6 and that now, looking back to what we had back then compared to what we have now and how much bigger it is. You know what I mean? I never would have thought back then, right now, we'd be sitting here doing a podcast about a mode that I played 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Or even talking about a map that we played 20 years ago. It's just wild to think about, like, how far it's come over the years.
Yeah, and like so many people, like not just games and game modes, but people in general probably owe so much to Nacht Der Untoten.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just been a bit of a sensation, hasn't it, since it initially came out? And we've got that guy to thank. I'm not entirely sure what his name is, but that one guy who made the mode initially.
Yeah, we probably should have thought about that.
Yeah, I considered it after we started talking. I was like, probably should have researched that bit, but it's public information. You can find it anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks to him, we've got. We're still here talking about this today.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Any final thoughts?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Fantastic.
So do you want to lead us into our outro then? That we've hopefully got scripted out this time?
Well, yeah, hopefully. Well, next episode, guys, should cover Verrupt, though with the launch of Season 1 of Black Ops 6 today, that might change. We'll see, though. I'm sure Josh will probably post something in the YouTube community section.
Yeah.
Other than that, YouTube pleasantries as always. Like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. We don't like doing it. We gotta do it though. But yeah.
Yeah, just how it is, unfortunately.
And I'll hand over. Absolutely. And I'll hand over for Josh for the last word.
All right. So, if you want, you can always check out the Discord, which we have in the description. If you just want to talk all things zombies, that sort of thing. Have any suggestions for the podcast or feedback in general, just let me know. We're also just going to promote the Aether Compilation again, just at the end here. So it's out right now if you haven't seen it already. So you can go ahead and check that out in one of the links in the description or maybe on screen. We'll see what happens. It's the first time promoting it, so it might be a bit all over the place. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, just let us know what you thought of Nacht Der Toten and when the first time was that you played it. Like whether it was back when it came out or more recently. Just let us know. All right, and I think that's it pretty much. So thanks for watching. See ya.